Check out Ty Herndon's new album, Jacob, streaming everywhere now.
Hey guys, I'm Ty Herndon, and this is Soundboard, my podcast in partnership with Pivotal Moments Media. We invite you to listen in as we talk with my fellow artists about how they turn down the negative voices and turn up the positive ones in order to achieve their dreams and live healthy, happy, mentally fit lives. Welcome to the conversation. Holy cow, Michael Ray. Hi, buddy.
What's up, bud? See you, man.
I'm doing so good. I just, it's a gorgeous day here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I get to sit down and talk to my friend about all your amazing positive energy. You always have it, man, and I just love it so much. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today, and thank you for being here, man. Thank you.
I appreciate the time. Yeah, I love, I love being able to talk about this type of stuff. I think now more than ever, it's important to, just for people to know that they're not alone in a lot of stuff. And, especially in the last couple of years, the way things have been, I think it's important that we all talk.
Absolutely, man. I always say, check on your neighbors and open your mouth and talk. For sure. Yeah. I got the gift of gab. I talk too much, but hey, listen, congratulations on Whiskey and Rain, man. No, number one, I keep up with you. I know what's going on with you because I always feel invested in my friends and my brothers, and my sisters, and it just it's amazing. And so listen, at this point in the game, I've been there, done that, and it's just such a cool experience. But how does it feel every time that little chart hits number one?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, man. That especially, I tried not to really. Well, I tried to just be work hard with my team, especially my radio team as a lineman, and I tried not to look for a long time because and like before you know, bro, it'll consume your everything, and you'll look. Why is it here? Why are we here? You just got to trust your team and know that they're the pros for a reason, and if everybody's doing their job right, just staying in their lane, we'll all get there at some point, So I try not to watch. Hopefully, God blesses us with the top 10. About the top 10, I start watching and start really looking and then going, oh, okay, this is something that we could really get here, And so I try not to stress about it too much. But man, it's hard, man. It's so hard, and especially, man. We recorded this song during quarantine in the closet of my tour manager at the time, his house. None of the musicians were in the same.
I love that.
It was literally, we had a videographer come in. Dave would come in and record it because we're like, dude, yes, this is absolutely insane what we're living through, but this is history, this stuff that we hopefully will look back on it, and the way that we were recording songs and making it happen. So the whole process of this song was not normal. And then we couldn't tour, promote, we couldn't. So it's like, it's hard enough when you can do all this stuff and then all of a sudden you can't. So I think it just made this song, the journey of it, really hit me whenever it went number one, all the time, all the effort, all the, the countless hours that my team spent without me even knowing, just trying to make it happen, and it was special. All of them are special, but I think this one might be my one,
So I love that you are making new rules during a hard time, man. So I have a question. We've got so many great friends out there in country radio. Did you still have to do the 5:30 a.m. calls?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Well, now it's like Zoom. Now it was like, now that was the only thing you could do is talk virtually or on the phone, so there was no in-person hangs. And I'm somebody where I'd rather be in person. So it was, we just had to do what we had to do. Sometimes you'd have those 5:00 a.m. calls and make it happen. Luckily, like you said, we got a lot of friends in radio, and you develop more friends as you grow in this business. So, now the phone conversations are better now whenever you have a hit on your hands than when you're not doing anything. And you're like, oh man, I don't really have anything happening right now, so I didn't know what to say. So thankfully, or else I'd have just been like, what have you been doing? Watching Netflix, sit on my couch, like everybody else.
Right. I know every show on Netflix. So question number 2 of that, I know you mentioned your team, and I love my team so much. What kind of things do you do to keep your team positive?
I think especially during quarantine, I realized how much my influence is on that, on my team, and how much it's important for us in our positions and in anything that you do. If you're in a I would say leadership role. It's important to find your avenues to take care of yourself, because it is true. The better you can be for yourself, the better you can be for your team. And I think I learned that not the hard way, but I'm somebody that sometimes needs to learn some things from being smacked in the face, and so I think going through quarantine and being that way, I pressed, and I felt like I was putting that on my team in a lot of ways. And so they reversed the role a little bit, and so I think one of the things I try to do is just constantly let them know how grateful I am, for them, and how, they'll go a whole lifespan of a single and spend hours, on countless hours, their own time, their own effort, their own money, everything to help a bunch of country boys' dreams come true, and never get really any recognition for it.
Country Boys Dream Come True. Sorry to interrupt you. That's a great song title. Writing it down now.
But yeah, so I just try to, always keep a line of communication and hang out with them outside of work, and like when we're in town, like have that time where if somebody's out doing something, like we'll hit each other up. And if we can, just get together and check on each other. I really do feel like I have a team, and I have done this where we've talked about real life stuff. And I don't know that many artists can say that. I know I have a team of people that I can come to if needed, and they can come to me if needed in a real way, not just a surface level job way.
Absolutely, man. I always think it's with my own experience. I like to know my teams, if their kids' names and their grandmother's name, because I always tell them, like, I never know when I'm going to need to call your mama.
Right. I might take that. I might do that with my band.
Yeah, that's why I got a child psychology degree, just for my band. Hey, listen, I want to dive on into this new single because, man, a preacher selling moonshine. And the video is amazing. I know you did that in your hometown. But I want you to tell us a little bit about that. And, my great grandfather, peddled moonshine. So, I and my other great grandfather was a stop on the Underground Railroad, so it was just, in the small towns. So tell me, did you come up with this concept? Tell me about the whole, tell me it all. I want to know.
Yeah. Making of this record, again, during quarantine, it was like, I think a lot of us were faced with reflecting and what we done. Are we proud of it completely? Is this how we want to do the next part of this? It kind of was like a reset for a lot of us. And I think for me, it was in a lot of ways. And so I think in that moment, I was like, man, when I came to Nashville, country music was kind of changing. It wasn't really what I grew up on. It wasn't what I was playing. And in a way, I felt like I didn't know where I fit in. So I was just trying to be whatever was to fit in, and with success, I'm grateful for with that was also like, man, I just don't really, I feel like I'm just playing the game a little bit. I feel like I'm just saying, all right, yeah, because I don't want to ruffle the feathers. But then as you grow, you realize ruffling the feathers means you're making that dream of yours come true. And that's what that team is there for, So during that time, I realized, what? Yeah, that old saying, I can't remember. There was an artist that said, I'd rather fail on my own. I'd rather let it be my fault that I failed than me saying this and deal with that, at another time in life when you can't go back and go, shit, man, I really wish I would have done this my way. I wish I would have said something. Maybe it would have changed. And so I kind of joke about it. I go, it was like my team was waiting for me to have this kind of epiphany. I was like, hey, listen, I've been feeling like I've been trying to fit this thing and it's not me. Like, this is me. Like, I just want to do this. I want to play real country music. I love country radio. I love country music. I love everything about it. I've been brought up in it my whole life. Like I'm a fan of it. I love it. And this is what I want to do. And it was just like, they were like, thank God, and it's like everything kind of rolled. So I had these songs that I wanted to have on this record, whether I'd written them or not. Yeah. I love country music. I love the history. I love the stories. That's what made me fall in love with it was those story songs. Even a lot of those songs I grew up listening to, I didn't know the story. I didn't understand it. I still love the stories. There's this mini movie that you could close your eyes and see the whole movie in your head. And you're so invested in these characters that you listen to the whole song. And then just like a great movie, you listen to it over and over. And those songs never get old. And those story songs still today, that's why they're still big. It's like people, great. That's the same reason why you watch Dumb and Dumber 1,000 times and you'll watch it 1,000. Like all the, your favorite movie. I love Rocky series. I've seen those series. I can't even count how many times. but if I'm on the bus, I'm probably watching that, like still to this. Yeah. Like even though I know,
strong now.
yes, I know how it ends. I know how it works. So I wanted that old story song. I wanted that, and I wanted it. I just had this, I wanted a good swampy Florida, old bluesy Southern rock type of just something we hadn't done before, but something that I was raised in, and so this song came across and immediately I fell in love with it. And immediately I said, if this song is a single, which it was one of those songs that you heard and you were like, this would be a single. You like this. Yeah. This is one of our ones that we have to beat. This is our mark.
You don't know this, but with my friends that are, being successful in country music, I am in radio promotion because I know a lot of radio guys. I always call and say, "Are you playing that Michael Ray? You playing that Michael Ray song? You playing it, man?" Yeah. I'm bad about that. To be honest, a few folks would tell you that, but I think I want to ask you this question. I know when you came to town and you were like, "Can I do this? Am I good enough?" I think like every artist goes through that, man. And I think when I first met you, you were at an event and I came over and said, "Man, I really, really love your record right now." And, for those of us that are in the business, we're probably not going to say that to you unless it's true, and I did love your record. And you've gone on to have number one records. You're filling up, stadiums. Listen, was there a moment, I always like to say, I listen to the whisper and follow the breadcrumbs. And as we grow, that I think that we come and get in tune with that. Was there a moment that maybe that whisper said, "You can do this"? Was there a pivotal moment that kind of moved you forward?
Yeah, man. I think there was a few, but my consistent pivotal moment, how this business is. It's like there's these little things, man, and it has to be God. Like it has to be that. It has to be. But there's nothing. Yeah. There's no other way to explain it. It was like at the end of my rope with it when I was living in a 2-bedroom bath with 5 buddies, driving my tour van, so many, like one time we were going to Gainesville, Florida, dude, I think we might've been making $150 driving from Tennessee, living in a 2-bedroom with all these dudes, living on whatever we could eat, driving a trailer that my great uncle who had passed away just before that let us use. That was bigger than the car I was driving. It blew a tire. I used the $200 I had in my name to buy the tire. And I decided to get to Gainesville. And when we got there might have been 15 people there. We brought 6 of them in the van, so it was like, it was all those moments, man, that I would, God, there's no way. I know it's hard. Like, I know it's hard, but there's no way it's this hard. Like, is this something I need to, what do we do? I didn't know how to really meet people in Nashville. I didn't know how to do all that. Yeah. But those little pivotal moments was like, there was always something that that would grab me. There was like this little hope that, like a meeting, literally, Ty, I'd be on the phone with my dad or my grandpa, he was alive at the time, like in damn near tears, just going like, I don't know what the hell to do, man. Yeah. Like I'm strong. I feel like I'm taking 2 steps up and then I take 5 back and I don't know how to make this happen. BMI would ask me to do something. Or I would meet a songwriter, or a meeting would pop up, or something. It was these little things to be like, okay, that was the only little bit of hope I needed. It was this little light and I was like, boom, got it. Okay. And that would keep me until the next moment of having to call family and friends going, I don't know. And man, Ty, sometimes I felt weird saying this but everybody's journey is different, but like, I didn't come. My town wrapped their arms around me from 15 playing bars, from high school playing bars. So I this like, and if anything, I should have been like, hell yeah, I can do whatever. But instead, it was like this. Okay, I feel like I can do it. I feel like these people feel like I can do it, and that helped me a lot. Having that love, of course, knowing that people support you, that hometown support is a real thing. But then you're like, man, is it worth this? Is it worth all the years? That you wait. Stress and and then there's a little. So I think my pivotal moments were little pivotal moments that have been set out. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Man, there are moments where I wanted to quit, but something little would pop up and I'd hold on to.
Man, I relate to that so much because my first tour bus was an old Sunbeam bread truck that my dad welded seats into, and we were riding up and down the road in that, and then. When I first started playing in Texas, we had some beat up old limo that we would travel the 12 hours from Nashville and it always breaking down. I have a recording. I have a recording where I stopped and knocked on this lady's door, and I said, I need a universal joint. I said, she wouldn't open the door. I said, but just call this number and tell them to bring a hammer and a universal joint. So that became a huge thing. It was like, Ty needs a hammer and a universal joint. I still do. So
right now.
So I have a tendency to talk too much just about you. Listen, this show's called Soundboard, and I've been so excited to do it. This amazing company called Pivotal Moments that I work with and get to do this, and we're all about turning up the positive voices and turning down the negative. Now, listen, I know you've been through some stuff. I know that I've been through some stuff, and we have to get our footing, man. And those negative voices can sure take over. So, what do you meditate? What do you do, man? Just to sit down in the morning and go, okay, get the hell out of here, negative voices. I need to turn up the positive. How do you do that?
Yeah, man, it is tough. And I think what I've learned over the last couple of years is, again, like I said before, is keeping yourself first and the things that you need to make that time, just like you would eat. When your body's hungry, you feed it, right? So like for me, and I think it's just being a guy from the South, we're built and bred to be the men. We're built to be this, and like if something bothers you, push it back. Well, a bucket can only hold so much water, and your body can only hold so much stuff. And sometimes, hopefully, you figure that out before big medical things can happen, because stress is a number one cause for so many massive, cancer, heart failure. I mean, you name it, and it all starts from this. And we live in a world that is just, we're pounding stress on us younger and younger, and so I think that's why you're seeing a lot of this happen. I'm younger. So what I learned in the past couple of years is that little time in the morning really means a lot for me. And if I can get up and just have, even if it's 20 minutes, I started taking cold showers at the beginning of the year. And that's been something that I really do feel a big difference in. I also take time to read my Bible in the morning. And I just kind of go to the back because I really didn't know how to do that. In the beginning, like I'm a Christian. I've been, I was raised a Christian, raised in the church, but in the last couple of years, I hadn't been I didn't come to him with everything, being honest, had some anger towards him from some stuff, and so it was like, you go, all right, well, I've tried to pissed off at you, that doesn't work. So let's rekindle this thing, let's do this. But I realized, when I go because I was like, I didn't know how to, what do you open? You know what I mean? Like, what part of the Bible do you open today? And so, but I would go to like what I was feeling. If I was feeling stressed, if I was feeling insecure, if I was feeling whatever, and I'd find that, the part of the Bible that has those, and I read a few of those verses and spend time with that. And man, it really does just put your mind in a more positive space, and I did some work at the beginning of the year. And I never done any work like that before, as far as like just really trying to take care of yourself. And man, it just, when you realize that we're all human beings that were raised by no matter how great or how bad or whatever the home life was, you were raised by broken people who are just products of what they were come from, and we're generating broken people that have been trying to make this thing happen, so we're not made to get it, but we're put in a society where, Ty, why don't you know this? Know it now. And if you don't know, we're going to make fun of you, so now as a kid, you're like, well, shit, I don't want to get made fun of. So I'll lie, or I'll make it look like this, or I'll do whatever. Yeah. And I think with that work, it helped me a lot, to just kind of have that mindset of like, man, we're all just trying to make the most out of whatever the hell this thing is that we're doing, and
Michael, I love that you gave me another song idea. She gave me another song idea. I'm sorry to interrupt you again, man. A cold shower in Jesus. There you go.
Like, you got to hear some of my buddies though that have tried this cold shower method. I get a phone call. I thought I was going to die, man. How the hell do you do this thing like this?
I'm going to try it now. I think it's brilliant.
Do at least 3 or 4 minutes. It's not the funnest and definitely not the most flattering, but it works. I promise you.
Man, I have been through a lot of trauma in my life, and one thing that I've learned, you said something so pivotal for me, and you were a teacher for me just now. You said that people that are around us or raising us are just kind of victims of their trauma, and I know for me, working through the stuff I have worked through this year around a lot of abuse, it was all about understanding that something happened to those people for those people to do that to me. And in that, I was able to find forgiveness, and also forgiveness for myself. So it's been such a journey with that. And man, I just love that you said that. We're a little bit on the same page here with the healing process. If you had to go back and talk to let's say 14-year-old Michael Ray, from where you're sitting right now, besides giving him a great big hug, what would you say to him, man?
Man, I would say, stop stressing about, my parents went through a divorce that was pretty real, very heavy. When I was 8 years old, it caused a lot of trauma for me and my sister. It caused a broken home in a bad way, for many years. And I think being in that, as a kid, you take, even though, my parents never was like, this is your fault. There was never that thing. You do take responsibility for that. And there's this brokenness, there's this fear, like we never really had a stable home, like growing up, it was always, we were here and there. But man, that might be why I tour so easy now. I've never really at one point, one spot. So maybe that might be why, but through those times, I think I would tell them, to stop stressing that, and that it all works out. I think during that age of a guy's life, or, I have sisters, I can't speak for women, but I can speak on what I witnessed with them, and, you're going through so much, your body's changing through so much, as a man, you're feeling this, testosterone's coming through, all of a sudden when you're 14, that girl's cute. Okay. Well, now does she think it's, well, all it starts changing and you want things now and you worry about stuff. I would tell them to slow down, man. It's all going to be good. It all works out. Stop putting it all on your shoulders,
I still tell 10-year-old little Ty that same thing, man. And 10-year-old little Ty's about to turn 60. And man, I'm rocking the Clooney, man. I mean, I'm giving it to George Clooney because, I know I look good. Right. Shit, man. So I'm turning up those positive voices,
That's right.
So I'm going to give you one final question here, my brother, because this has been great. You've given the audience so much information that's going to really help. And thank you for that. Thank you for being wide open. This is kind of the big question of the hour here. How does Michael Ray, on a daily basis, besides cold showers, stay positive? How do you stay positive, man? Because you're one of the most positive people I know.
Man, I think, thank you for saying that. I try to be, I'm not all the time, and I see a lot of, but I try to catch myself, when life throws you hard things, it's easy to get down. One, I try to be as grateful as I can every day, every morning. My grandpa, there's this saying I just saw in a movie, and it might be my new life quote. It's in the new Madea movie, and it says, he says, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. And if it don't, you're dead. And I was like, that is the best quote I've ever heard in my life. I was like, that is life in general. Like, listen, you get another one tomorrow. And if you don't, you're in a better place than here. You know what I mean? So, hey, but that quote, that might be my new thing. I tell myself every morning, but I just try to be grateful for things, man. I think I look back on life and I look back on, just understand too, that life's a journey, man. You're not meant to get it. You don't read a book and you don't start a book and then do a full book report after the first chapter. You got to read every chapter. You got to go into it. You got to understand it. There's ups and downs. There's web and flows. You're not going to perfect. You're going to screw up. You're going to piss somebody off, and vice versa. It's going to happen, right? Now you're going to try a few and far between, and then it happens. Fix it, and everybody grows. And makes yourself better. I think the biggest thing that people can do is just be happy that we're alive, and lead by example. And I just try to, like I said, try to be grateful for it, man, and know that people show up to hear me play country music, and that still blows my mind. So as long as they'll show up, I'll keep coming.
I promise you, I'm gonna keep showing up, man. I'm a huge fan, and I'm a fan of your life as well. And Tyler Perry, where's that motivational book? Because I just watched that movie last night.
Yeah, dude, when he said that, I was like, that is the best quote I've. The sun will come up tomorrow, and if it doesn't, you're dead. You're dead.
Michael Ray, I love you so much. Thank you for your time today, man. You're brilliant as always. I love you, buddy.
Hey, man. Love you, buddy. Appreciate the time.
And I'll be watching that chart for the next number one, Holy Water. That's it, man.
See you guys.
See you, man. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Soundboard. I'm Ty Herndon, reminding you to turn down the negative and turn up the positive on the soundboards of your own life.